Hello, if any of you follow Rooster Teeth at all, you might have heard that Monty Oum, an animator over there, passed away on the 1st of February this month. We thought we'd just do a little segment and talk about him, maybe inform people if they don't know. So, what do you guys know of the situation? Like, how did he pass? Do you guys know?
Yeah, so apparently he went in for like a routine, some sort of procedure, and he had a bad reaction to something.
Some allergic reaction.
Allergic reaction to something, and went into a coma for over a week, I think.
Yeah, it was quite a while.
Yeah. They set up a fund, though, a GoFundMe page for his family, for his widow. You can go find that. It's just Monty Oum. The GoFundMe, they've raised $240,000 as of the last time I looked.
That actually makes me proud of the Rooster Teeth community because it shows, like, I think around 8,000 people donated that money, which is pretty significant that that many people would donate that much money to help someone who they most likely haven't met at all, but just kind of made something they enjoyed.
That's the thing, though, especially about the internet in general, but especially with Rooster Teeth, is that they're really big with their community, so you kind of feel like you know these people. Mm-hmm. So they've been to conventions and you've met them, and they're one of the only companies that have their own convention. They're pretty much the only entertainment company.
Yeah.
You have PAX, but the only real entertainment company that has their own convention. So you get to know these people. And it's taken personally by a lot of people, his death, because nobody really saw it coming. They said, I think on Bernie, one of the creators for Rooster Teeth, posted a journal article on their website, which is basically saying this happened and we don't know if he's going to recover a few days before he died.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of all of a sudden. And he was such an amazing person and such an amazing animator.
He was.
Taken hard by a lot of people.
And he worked on so many things for Rooster Teeth. I mean, he was behind RWBY, RWBY. He did that other thing.
He did a lot of animation, yeah.
Yeah.
He was the first, if you don't know what RWBY is, Red vs. Blue, it's actually one of the longest running sci-fi shows. The longest in America.
Longest continuous.
Continuously running because of Doctor Who, usually is what it said, but in America especially. And it's done it to Machinima actually, so it's done in Halo, in Engine Halo. But he was the first person to animate anything in it, and it took the internet kind of by storm when he did that.
Yeah, it was like a shock moment where it cut from gameplay to animation, and it was pretty impressive, and I think people usually pretty much fell in love with Monty right away. He was quite the personality you could really latch on to.
Yeah, I went to their convention, to RTX, and I saw his panel, and he had a presence about him that was bigger than him. It was bigger than life, and it's really sad because he was such an amazing animator. And you see things like Red vs. Blue, you see these amazing animation sequences, and then out of that, he had another idea he had his own idea for RWBY, which is like an anime style show, and you could see his humor in that more than anything else, more than you could see in Red vs. Blue.
That was the first American-created animation to be dubbed anime in Japan.
Really? It is on Crunchyroll. That's the big anime. It's kind of like Netflix for anime.
Yeah, it's everywhere now. Actually, I believe the day after he fell into the coma, it got posted onto Netflix, and I was watching it when I was watching RWBY on Netflix when I actually learned he died. It hit me pretty hard when I learned it.
It's hard. Yeah, I got a text message from one of my friends who follows Rooster Teeth, and I was like, wait, what? This actually happened? It's kind of like when you hear that like someone you knew died.
Yeah, it's like a shell shock for the entire company. They actually did the day that he passed, they did like a moment of silence thing where they didn't put out any video except for the announcement that he passed, and I thought that was a nice, sweet sentiment.
It definitely was. Meg Turney did that, and it was really hard to see her. She very hard for her to do it, and I can't imagine what it's like for them right now, because someone who was so inspirational to a lot of people, to a lot of animators in general, having been to that convention, every person in line for the RWBY panel was like, I want to be like Monty, I want to be an animator. Mm-hmm. He's like kind of inspired me to go, I can do this. So it's been hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's when you see RWBY now, you see his personality in it.
You definitely do.
And you see how just lighthearted he was, and I think that's how I think Rooster Teeth in general wants them to be remembered.
If you want to learn more about Monty or want to like watch something that is in his remembrance, they did this past Monday, they put out a specific podcast, about 45 minutes, that was a few of them talking about Monty, their favorite moments of being around him, things they loved about him, just kind of a nice little, almost like a wake, just kind of talking about him. I watched it, and it's good to watch if you're a fan of his.
Yeah, they also had that 3-minute kind of remembrance video of him talking about how he got into animation and why he loves it and how every day is a new experience and how he loves his job. And that's really hard to see.
Yeah.
He's talking about his next project, and it's just,
Yeah.
we're never going to see it now.
That was Monty's things, that he always, they say in the podcast thing, is that there was never a time where he wasn't working on 3 things at once. If he was working on a show, he was planning the next thing. If he was also working on some personal project, building his next cosplay. That was another thing about Monty, is that he always had like a flair to his style. Like just, they say he never wore the same outfit twice because he just made something new every day.
He had ridiculous wigs and stuff like that, his costumes, even his outfits. And it's just, it's interesting though, because you do see that in RWBY, his basic child. I mean, he talked about how he animated that like when very late at night, and he spent long hours doing it because of how passionate he was about the characters. Which also brings you to a lot of, if you've seen a lot of the images that have come out of the community, of a lot of the RWBY characters kind of mourning him.
There's
especially Nora and Ren.
Yeah.
Because
it's unfortunate to see someone go right when, like, I think he was definitely in his prime. He was
33.
pumping out great content. He was a great person. He left behind a lot of loved ones, and it's just kind of hard to believe at times.
He was 33 years old, which is ridiculous because you don't think that someone could have an allergic reaction to something that you don't even routine medical procedure.
They haven't specified what that procedure was, but
family needs its privacy. He left behind a wife, so that's kind of the GoFundMe page, is trying to help for medical bills and help for his wife. So
I think it's important to remember that even though he is gone, you need to remember that he wouldn't want you to just like be sad about it. I think it was Bernie that said, if you want to, it was either Bernie or Matt. He said, if you want to, don't send them flowers, don't send them cards. Just be creative. Just keep going. That's what he would have wanted.
I think a quote of Monty's that's said a lot in his remembrance is keep moving forward. Just keep moving on to the next thing. Keep doing something new.
And it's been sad though, and it's been picked up by Times, and the Times has written an article about it. So it's really interesting to see the presence that this man, who you might not think had a presence in general society, had.
We recommend that you look into this, check out that podcast describing him, maybe even check out some of his content if you haven't seen it. I think that's all we have for now. Thank you.